All right, can everyone hear me okay?
I heard you, Adam. This is Bernadette.
Okay, good. All right, since I'm running a little late here, I'm going to go ahead and get rolling. Right now I can't see what you're seeing. Hopefully that'll pop up for me. So you all know me by now, 4-H Extension Specialist, State Enrollment Coordinator. I'll put this PowerPoint up at the end of today's session. Again, it's some helpful links, the online login, the webinars page, the Minnesota training materials that I've learned quite a bit from, and the Iowa training materials. A couple of reminders: if you're not getting any announcements about 4-H Online or ES-237 deadlines, 4-H exit insurance, things like this, send me a note that you need to be on the 4-H staff listserv that underwent a pruning, and a lot of folks that are below the educator level in the organizational system were taken off the listserv, so I'll need to know if you need to be on there. The under 6-hour reporting, we're going to be doing a policy announcement on this soon. In 4-H Online, anything under 6 hours is reported as an activity. It's important to report that because it does go into the SUNY report. It may not count on the ES-237, but it's still valuable work that's being done in the counties. So we'll have that recorded under the activities section in 4-H Online. And I think I covered that 2 weeks ago. Today I'm going to cover club leader and family enrollment of members. It's going to be very, very light on PowerPoints and very heavy on demonstrating what to do because there's quite a few steps. The first thing I'm going to do is the club leader enrollment of members. I'm going to demonstrate how a club leader would add a new family. And when would a club leader do this? This is if you're going to have the club leader collect enrollment forms at a site, say, and you're going to give them permission to manage their club as an organizational leader in such a way that they're actually going to enter the data for the families and the youth. I see this as a valuable tool to free up your data entry time. Paper forms are still going to be needed in the counties. PW Wood's been pretty unwavering about this. Right now it's the acknowledgement of risk, the enrollment form itself, and the photo release. They need an ink signature and they need to be housed in the county. With that, I'm going to go back and jump into 4-H Online. Let's try this. Okay, I'm seeing the 4-H Online screen. Are you? So I'm not seeing it on my monitor. Let's see if I can do this. 4-H Online. Now you can see it. Great. All right, so last week I covered creating a volunteer with permissions that has access to manage a club online in 4-H Online. And that person's name was George Klink, so I'm going to log in just as if I was him. And I have a cheat sheet for what I'm doing today, and I'm going to put that on the enrollment page. So everything I do today you can do because just demonstrating this isn't going to do it. You're going to really want to go through and do this yourselves. There's quite a few steps here. I'm going to go ahead and log in as George. It's under George's password. 1, 2, 3. All right, so here I am. I'm a club leader. I'm logged into 4-H Online. I have two options from the screen. I can continue to my own family to edit my own family records, or I can go to my club. So George is the organizational leader of the Beef Brigade. He was given a club password to log into his club. When he logs into his club, he sees a very basic screen. This is for volunteers, so he's not going to be doing all the things that a county staff would doing. So you'll see that this screen looks quite a bit different from what you would have. So what I'm going to demonstrate now is how George would add a family. So George would go to a search screen, and he has a button here for Add Family. I'm going to go ahead and roll through this. I covered this in the first couple of training or two, but I want to just go through it once again. So George is going to enter the enrollment family. As you recall, the first step in any enrollment is entering the family. I'm going to use my own alternate email address for this. In the cheat sheet I post, you'll see that I would recommend you use an email address other than this one, because once it's in there, you can't add another family with the same email address. So George is getting a prompt that says, wait a minute, I'm seeing similar information. So I've used my phone number a few times for tests. So what it's saying is, wait a minute, does this family already exist? Every time that phone number comes up or that email comes up, it's going to ask him not to create a duplicate family. For today's purposes, I'm going to go ahead and add the new family. And here we go. This should look familiar from a few weeks ago. All these red fields are required, so let's go ahead and get those filled out. We'll make this not a 4-H club. The only county George can currently see is the training county. He's only an organizational leader in that county. He can continue. And now the family has been created, the enrollment family. So if I were to click on Edit Family, I would see the family screen. But a family isn't much good without any members, so we'll go ahead and add an adult member to the family. Again, the information that I've already entered is going to be there. This is completely different from Access 4-H, where you had to start from day one with every bit of information. I'll just roll right through we're going to call this John Enrollment. He'll be the dad. The address is the same. As a reminder, adults do not need birth dates in 4-H Online. Gender is required. All the fields that are available here, which I've gone through before. Again, he can only be in the training county. This is not an employee. We'll say that for the sake of this training that John is not a volunteer. I've been putting ethnicity in for adults. Sometimes it seems like it's required, sometimes not. This field is required. We'll say that no one in the enrollment family is serving in the military. The authorization uploads, if he were a volunteer, that would be the screen this would work on. So what club is our John enrollment in? He's going to be enrolled in the Beef Brigade, which is our test club that we're working with today. At this point, this is all you need to add for an adult. You can go ahead and submit the enrollment here. If this were a volunteer, we could continue right on to the projects area, and we could say that he is a project leader for one of the projects that are available to you. But for now, we'll just go ahead and submit his enrollment. This is going to return us to the enrollment family. Again, I'm enrolled. I'm in the system as a volunteer managing a club. So I could go up one step to the club, or I can stay right here in the family screen for this family that I've just added. There's now one member of this family, and that's John. We'll go ahead and put a youth into this family as well. We're going to add a youth member, and we'll call this John Jr. And since this is a youth, the birth date is required. You can go ahead and select a birth date for this young person. The gender, of course, is going to be required. And again, all the ES-237 items down here are going to be required. Let's go through that a little more slowly. The youth cell phone. If we are going to text the youth, we can pick his cell phone carrier, and we can turn on the text notifications for this young person. We can add a second parent. If there's a non-custodial parent with a different address, we can add all that here. And emergency contact is not required right now, but we have the name, phone, 3 different places for that information. Again, since this club leader only has access to training county, that's where they're going to go. A volunteer applies to either a youth or an adult. We'll say that John Jr. is not a volunteer. And again, all the ES-237s will be required for an individual enrollment. Select a military status. Nobody in the military. We want to get a grade in there for the young man, which will roll over as the enrollment rolls over. We're going to keep rolling through junior screens here. Each youth enrollment is required to be associated with the club, so we'll add them to the Beef Brigade. Each youth enrollment is required to have at least one project to set up the record. I'll go ahead and add a project for John Jr. And Beef Brigade sounds like beef cattle would be appropriate. I've been in the project 1 year. Since this is not we don't have a Cornell University project for this, we don't have the option of linking that to the PDF. So at this point we can submit him, or we can add activities, awards, or add him to groups. For the sake of brevity, we'll go ahead and submit his enrollment. Oh, I always forget this. When you select the project, you still have to add it with this button. So now you see that his project has been added, and we can submit his enrollment. We've returned to the family screen. Now we have 2 members, John and John Jr., pending enrollments for the Beef Brigade Club. So at this time, there's 2 different ways you can deal with this. Right now I have it set up so that a county volunteer that is an organizational leader for your club can approve this enrollment, or a county person can approve the enrollment. You can set it up either way. To me, the most logical sense would be that this volunteer can enter the enrollment, and then the county would go ahead and approve it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is show you what it looks like to approve this. So I'm going to go ahead and log out of this volunteer profile, and I'm going to log into a county account. And today, let's be Westchester County. Everybody, again, is in the training county at this point. So right now, my title is Westchester County, but I'm in the training county, and that's the only thing I can edit. You can see here on the right of the screen that we have a notification that there's 3 enrollments pending. Go ahead and click on that screen. We see that John and John Jr. have enrollments pending. These are the enrollments that I just put in as if I were a volunteer managing a club. To approve these, we're going to have to look at each of these records, see what's been entered by the club leader on these people's behalf. Just going to check through everything they've entered. At this point, you can upload the code of conduct if you'd like, the signed code of conduct, which is the only thing you don't need the ink and pen form for, and that's why I included that there. We can see that he's already in the Beef Brigade Club. If we wanted to at the county level, we could say, well, he called and said he wanted to join another club. At this point, we could add him to another club as well. So everything looks good for this potential parent. So we're going to review the enrollment. And when we get to the screen, it's kind of the final screen. You can see that nothing's editable here. This is the approval screen. At this point, we can accept the member. We can send that back to them with a note for corrections. We can delete them or cancel out and go back and make changes. At this point, we'll go ahead and accept John Sr., which brings us back to the pending screen. And we see that John Jr. is still pending. From the county level, we can go ahead and take a look at his record. Everything looks good. We'll go through the different screens. And I see a message from Kelly. I'll get there in just a moment. So with Junior, we can review the enrollment and change him from pending to approved. So as to the question of receiving an email when there's a pending member, the technical answer is yes, but I haven't received one yet. So I'm not sure when or how that happens in this training county. Everything's a little fuzzy with the training, but reading up on 4-H Online, yes, the county administrator should get an email when one of these things happens. If not, at any time you log in to the county, your screen will show the pending enrollments. Members, volunteers needing county approval. So I'm going to stop talking for a moment and see if there's any more questions, because that was quite a bit to go through. Will there...
Adam, I have a question. This is Bonnie Peck. Will there be forms that we can print off, like the templates that we used to have, that we have for access? Will there be forms like that that we can use that will have the questions that are asked that we can use to input into here?
Yes, I can make a general form. I don't believe I can make the counties cannot make a form specific to their county. So just like for Access 4-H, I can make one that is pretty general to the state and will not meet the needs of every county. But for re-enrollments, I realized that when you have those pre-filled out forms, it comes in awful handy when the club leader can just check a list, or they can check off which projects they're going to continue for the next year. Any other questions before I move on to my next topic? Let's do back to my WebEx here. And the next thing I'd like to go through is family self-enrollment. So as I've said in prior webinars, what makes the most sense to me is that this year, counties enroll everyone. Next year, you open it up to club leaders. And in year 3, you open it up to family self-enrollment. That's up to every county. You can do it however you'd like. Family self-enrollment will certainly spread the burden of all the paperwork over the most people. And it'll cause a little grief when there's technical issues and you're new to the system. But you may choose to go this route and find that you work through it together. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do a new family, the approval process, and as I've said, the paper forms that are going to still need to be collected in the office are the acknowledgement of risk, the enrollment form, and the photo release, because these could show up in court sometime if there were a case of litigation. So our insurer is insisting that we keep these paper forms on file. I think I'm going to check my notes here. And I'm going to go back to 4-H Online. I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping here, because the enrollment family, I enrolled them as a group, as a club leader. Right now, I'd like to show you how to enroll that family as a person kind of on the street. So I'm going to go to their family record, and I'm going to delete this family if I can. Family. I don't think I'm in the right area to do this. Myself, bear with me. Okay, let's get back to this enrollment family that we created. Well, I've done this once, and I'm not figuring out how to delete a family right now. Screen. All right. Well, at any rate, I'll figure that out. It's not on my notes here. But if we have a brand new family and they need to set up a profile, we'll go ahead and they're going to select, I need to set up a profile. They should know if they're in a military 4-H club, if they're on a base or something like that. We're going to select the training county for this potential family that's enrolling in 4-H Online, basically online. Email is always going to be required. And we'll call this Enrollment 2, the Enrollment 2 family. We'll make up a password for them, also required. Once they click this Create Login, well, I've used this mail I'm not very creative when it comes to making up email addresses, I guess. So we'll call this one mail 345 at mail.com. Okay, I'm going to start over. I got caught in a circle there. Bear with me. So we're going to set up a profile. We're going to select the training county. And I'm going to make up a unique email this time. 5, 6. Don't think I've used that one before. As I've said in prior webinars, the email address is going to be critical for resetting passwords. And my colleagues in other states have had the most problem with family enrollment with people forgetting their email addresses or not being able to access them. And at this point, when they click Create Login, is when the email should come to the county administrator. 3, 4, 5, 6. Notifying you that you have a person or family that wants to enroll in 4-H in your county, and they've begun the process of filling out paperwork. So they're going to go ahead and enter their information, similar to what the club leader did. And they can decide if they want to use postal mail or email. We've already selected the training county. Update member records with the same address. This means that when they go through the paperwork process a little more, they'll be able to add the adults and the youth for their family with the same address. They've already entered a password, so there's no need to change their password at this point. If they need to reset it, they will come to this area to reset their password. So once we've created their family, they can go ahead and begin adding adults and youth into their family. Technically, an adult would not be required for the enrollment, but for the purpose of emergency contact, I think it's important that they enter their information. And I think you would know that in the counties much better than I. So similar to when the club leader enrolled the person, they can fill out their own information. Are they employed? Do they plan to volunteer? Again, the ES-237 fields. Are they in a military family? And then they'll continue. You'll see that they cannot approve their own record, but they can select a club that they're interested in their county. If they know the name of the club, they can add that. That gives you a little more information to go by. At this point, we can submit their enrollment, and it'll bring them back to their family screen. And at this point, this enrollment is sitting in the dashboard of the training county account. So if I were to log out and log into the training county, I would see a pending enrollment for John J. At this point, we can add a youth. And that button I selected to update all the fields, we can see that it's all there. We can go ahead and fill out information for Jane, who's a youth. Since she's a youth, we're going to need her date of birth. Again, we're going to need all the youth, the ES-237 fields filled out. It will not accept it without these. And for youth, we can select the grade as well. Forgot the gender, also a required field. At this point, we can select what projects this youth might be interested in. We can select a nearby club if the club leaders let them know. Perhaps they have openings in that club. They can apply to be in that club. You can select a project that they're interested in. All clubs can do all projects is the current setup. We'll say that this young person is interested in civic engagement. This would be your first year. Add the project. At this point, you can submit the enrollment for the youth, and it'll bring you back to the family screen. And these enrollments will be pending enrollments in the county screen. To demonstrate that, I can show you where they'll be living. By simply going to the home screen, we have 3 enrollments pending. And there we are. Jane and John J. enrollment are now pending. And as I demonstrated with the club leader enrolling these folks, you can at this time approve the application. You can change what club they may be in. You can change the projects that are available. You can send it back, or you can approve it. So that gets me through everything I wanted to cover today, and I realized that was quite a bit, but I felt like last week I didn't get through enough after the setting up the club leader with the permissions. So now I'm going to open it up for questions, and I see I have some here in the chat box. So let me see if I can open this up a little bit. Can volunteer screening and rescreening be tracked through 4-H Online? Yes, there is a date field in here. Let me see if I can find that. We have a volunteer that's active is what I'm looking for. So when you're looking at a volunteer screen and you click through the different areas of the volunteer screen, you'll see that there's these areas that are yellow, and these are only the county level manager can see them. We'll get to the volunteer involvement policy, which I believe is right here. Let's see here. Personal information. I'm not seeing it today, but in this screen there should be a, well, I'm logged in as her, so let me go back up to the county. Volunteers should be here. The answer is yes. I showed where that was, and I think training 2. It's not coming to me right where that lives right now, though. But yes, the entire volunteer involvement policy is in here, and hopefully I didn't turn that off because it was quite a bit of work to set that up. But I'll make a note to show that off as the first part of the next training. And sorry I can't jump right there today. This is the first time Oswego is attending the webinar. When I log into 4-H Online, I only have access to the trial clubs. When will I have access to real data? So right now the contract for 4-H Online is in the University Council's office. They're going back and forth because New York State has some HERPA laws which apply to school-aged youth that are kind of unique to New York. So there's some negotiations going on. Once the contract is signed and you feel comfortable jumping into your real data, what I'll do is I'll switch you out of the training county and I'll switch you into your own county. At that point, it will be real data that you're entering. It won't be practice data. Kelly asked a question. If individuals are able to add their own information, is there a way to add a limit on the number of people who enroll in each club? I don't know, but let's take a look and see if we can figure that out real quick. I haven't heard that you can do that. I don't think you can set a limit on club enrollment. I think of this as applying for enrollment into a club. Some clubs simply can't take everybody that wants to be in them. So when it gets to the county approval process, that might be the time to pick up the phone and say, I'm sorry, but we just don't have enough volunteers to cover all the people that want to be in this club, so here's a couple nearby clubs that you might be interested in. Again, I think of this as applying for membership to 4-H, not necessarily enrolling yourself completely into the program. You can only offer what your program has the capacity to do. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you for attending, everybody. Sorry about my technical glitches as I began the webinar. I'm going to upload a document. It's called Passwords ETC for the 10/21 Tuesdays at 2. It's going to give you all the things that I've just done. I would ask that if you create a family with the information here, that you go ahead and delete the family after you're done. So if someone else is using the same information, they won't get hung up with the saying that the email already exists. Or better yet, you can just create a different email address. The email address duplication will prevent you from adding that family, but if you make up an email address and it's got similar phone numbers or whatever to another family, it'll just warn you, but you can still go ahead and add them. Also upload this WebEx as well as the brief PowerPoint I shared this week. Not a whole lot there, but I'm glad I recorded this one because we went through quite a bit. And I'll see everyone next Tuesday at 2. Thanks, everyone.